Um, I'm going to assume that we have access to the slides, and then I'll go ahead and get started. So the first slide here, talking about how to help your children get into top universities. Notice the subtitle, Raising Pioneers for the Age of Intelligent Machines. But the key word I want to focus on is pioneers. So as I was preparing for this, one of the things that I've said in the past and that I was thinking about yesterday is, if you think about the people that are making a massive impact right now when it comes to technology and the world that we live in, just imagine that you want your child to be able to get a job working with them while ensuring that your children are adding value to their company. So if your goal, okay, this is one level to think about this. There's two levels here, but let me start with the first level. The first level is that, let's say your child wants to go on and get a job in the AI revolution in a place that, is making an impact. Well, one of those companies is named NVIDIA. And so let's assume that your child wants to go get a job with NVIDIA. What should they be looking for, right? Um, Let me go back here for a second. If your child wants to get a job with NVIDIA, they should think through what their education should look like in order to be of value to that company. We're going to switch slides here. It's just going to take 1 second. Company by market cap, about 5 trillion. The CEO of NVIDIA is basically the market cap for NVIDIA is about 5 trillion. Just to give you reference, there are companies now, such as NVIDIA, such as the other one that I think is crazy is Elon Musk's companies and his net worth, right? There are companies right now that have more net worth. I mean, they have more of a market cap value than the GDP of like 55 countries combined, right? Just one company. This is crazy, right? But if you think about it, why are these companies worth so much? What value are they adding? Well, NVIDIA is the company that makes the chips that are used for the AI revolution. You guys, I'm sure, have heard of NVIDIA at one point or the other. But what did Jensen Huang say when they asked him what would he study if he was 20 years old? He said he would study the physical sciences, the law of the real world, right? Demis Hassabis, also, if you ask him, how would he prepare for the AI revolution, or Elon Musk, you get certain kinds of answers. So here's my first answer to this question of how to help your children. Help them to think like pioneers. Help your children to think like the top, executives today. Not all of them. I wouldn't say I agree with all of them, but I'm saying at least let's look at Jensen Huang as an example. And he gave a talk at Cambridge University last year. I want to encourage you to look up that talk. Jensen Huang, Cambridge University, when he received the award, the Hawking Award. And one of the things you would notice is that he was speaking about the changes that have to happen in education. He was telling Cambridge University, one of the top universities in the world, that they are going to have to change what they're doing in the AI revolution. That's crazy. This is coming from Jensen Huang, right? At Cambridge University. He wasn't afraid to tell them that what you guys have been doing for these years, maybe it has worked for you before, but you need to come up with a new strategy, because the AI revolution requires us to think differently about education. So when we think about education and giving our children the best education in the AI revolution, I want to tell you one red flag. If your child is not aspiring to be the best, right, and the tools to get there right in their hands, that's a red flag. Here's my question for you, parents. Number one, is your child ready? Is your child willing? Is your child excited to do the best they can in their schoolwork? Or are they just kind of gliding and being mediocre? Parents, that is a serious problem. Let me give you context for this. Again, it's not a talent problem. I'm not saying your child is not talented or smart, etc. No, I'm just saying there's a motivation problem, and we need to find a way to help them get inspired. Because here's the reality, parents. One of the reasons why there was a lot of booing at the commencement addresses this year is because some people are concerned, some young people are concerned that they're not going to get jobs, right? Now, what does that mean? Well, parents, especially those with children in America and around the world, I don't know if you're aware, parents, agentic AI is here, right? It's now here. It was an idea before, but it's now here. What is agentic AI? And that's actually a topic I'm teaching right after this event. I'm going to teach a class at the next, like in the next hour. So that will be 45 minutes from now. And in that class, I'm actually focused on discussing what agentic AI is and how it works. So parents, your children are growing up at a time in America, for example, where they are literally competing sometimes with agents. These agents are so good at doing certain tasks, specialized tasks that used to be someone's job in the past. So that means that if your child wants to stand out in the AI revolution, they have to be exceptional. They cannot be mediocre. Because again, look at what companies have as far as options. They can just choose to go with agents instead of human beings. So your children need to be thinking like pioneers. They need to have a rigorous fundamental in mathematics and science. They need to be thinking like, how am I going to build and solve problems in my community? Not tomorrow, not when I go to college, but right now. The time has come for us to be thinking about right now, how will I change things in my society? See, in the past, you went to school and then you went to college and then you got your degree and then you made an impact. That has now collapsed. You can make an impact today. So what are our children learning in building AI software and AI solutions that are solving problems in their community? What are they doing with that? Because that opens doors into top universities for them. As I've studied, universities like MIT, Stanford, and so on and so forth, one of the things I realized is that the people who get into these universities were solving problems. That's how they started. They started by solving practical problems. And the names that you see on the screen are people that set out to solve practical problems. But they remind me of other people that set out to solve practical problems, such as Galileo, Kepler, and Newton. See, there's this idea called first principles thinking. First principles thinking is the idea of how do I, without knowing the answers to everything, right? Nobody has the answers to everything, but are there ways that we can that we can learn from history? I would argue that learning from the scientific revolution is one of the best ways to prepare for the AI revolution. Because the AI revolution is actually reaping some benefits from the scientific revolution. So if we teach children to think like the people of the scientific revolution, they will be okay. Let me say something that might shock some people. Going to a regular school in the AI revolution has a negative return on investment. Let me repeat for those at the back, as we say. Going to a regular school in the AI revolution has a negative return on investment. What does that mean? That means that if you don't go to certain schools at all in the AI revolution, you would be better off. That means that if you go to certain schools in the AI revolution, you would be worse off when you try to get a job. Let me explain. In our regular schools in America, we have children going to English class and math class and history class. Then they get the summer off and all of that. Some of these children then begin to think that that is the nature of how they should learn. They should have the summer off and they keep math and science separate. That idea or those ideas are actually very dangerous in the AI revolution. Here's why. Galileo, was he a mathematician or scientist, or what was he? He was all of the above. Kepler, was he a mathematician or scientist, or what was he? He was all of the above. Isaac Newton, was he a mathematician or scientist or philosopher? He was all of the above. You need to learn how to be a generalist in a sense. Children need to learn the connections between math and science and philosophy and history and theology and epistemology. They need to learn all of the above. The next 5 to 10 years, nobody should be sleeping. It is not the time to sleep. It is the time to apply yourself to excellence in education. That's my message to the young people. This is not the time to sleep. This is the time to take action. This is the time to solve problems. If Africa does not have constant electricity, for those who are watching from Africa or Nigeria, if we don't have constant electricity by 2040, it is our fault. There is no excuse now because we have all the tools we need to get things done, and we need to work together with the global collaborators to say what is working in other parts of the world and how can we implement it. The era where politicians call the shots or call the decisions, that is actually going away pretty fast. There are individuals wealthier than countries now. Like one individual is wealthier than all of the top two economies in Africa, right? So we don't need to worry about politicians, right? I'm not saying politics doesn't matter. I'm not saying we shouldn't aim to have good leaders. What I'm saying is we should not wait for somebody else anymore. We need to take agency. Let us learn from these guys. These guys did work when there was nothing. They had nothing. They had no computers, and they changed the world. What are we waiting for? We can change our world with the research, with the global collaborations. If a child is 16 or 17 years old right now, and they are not AI fluent, and they are not gaining from the global economy financially, they don't know what is happening, right? So let me give you an example. Why can't a 17-year-old get a job as a cybersecurity expert and start working for a global company right from their village in Nigeria right now? Like nothing is stopping that child. That is the world we live in. So I say all of this to say the times have changed radically, and we need to adjust. The children who are solving practical problems are the ones who will get into top universities. So, what problems are your students solving? What scientists are your students studying? Are your students just playing video games, or are they trying to solve practical problems in their community? And even if your child lives outside of a country that has problems that they want to solve, they can connect with students in that community over Zoom. My friends, we live in a time where the opportunities abound, but is there inspiration? Do people care? Are you waiting for the education system, students, for those who are watching, students? Are you waiting for the school to tell you what to do next? That is the wrong attitude in the AI revolution. You need to take action today. You need to be asking, what can I do today to solve the problems around me? So how does this connect to going to a top university? Well, if you solve a problem, you can write that in your essay and say, I solved a problem. When the admissions officer reads your essay, they say, wow. And I was just with the admissions officers at MIT a few days ago, about a week ago. And I'm just learning about some of the things that they're looking for. For those who don't know, MIT is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's the #1 university in America and one of the top 5 in the world, almost at any given point. And when you're listening to what they're talking about, you realize that they're not looking for someone who just got a perfect score in the SAT, even though that's important, or the ACT. And those are things that our company helps with. They're looking for people that can change their world. So let's keep pushing. The current school model, as I said, works against us in the AI revolution. Going along with the crowd, memorizing to pass and then forgetting, confusing feeling busy with learning, grade inflation that hides the gaps. You meet students who tell you they have all A's, but they don't know what's going on. Waiting to be told what to think. Those have to change as we look at the AI revolution. Number one, your students need to think outside the box. It is no longer enough to just know information. We need to answer the question, does this information even matter? That is the question your students need to learn to answer or ask. Does this matter? Number two, mastery that lasts. Your students should not just be studying for an exam and forgetting. They need to have notes that they can study. They need to be able to go back and study their notes with deep understanding. I joke and tell people that some of us got, A1s in WAEC in chemistry, which is the exam we take in Nigeria, one of the exams we take. But can we fix the drinking water problem in our villages? Can we fix electricity? No, but we got an A1. That will not matter as much in the AI revolution because the AI agents are getting A1s too. So getting A1 is no longer the gold standard. The gold standard is, what am I doing with the knowledge I have acquired? That is the gold standard. Number three, we need to build real things. We need to build real things. Our company and Life Academy will be providing students from Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, students from around the world with opportunities to build with engineers. We have engineers at MIT we're connecting with. We have engineers at the Rocket City of America, Huntsville, Alabama. We have a mechanical engineer, robotics engineer. We have an electrical engineer in Austin, Texas. These guys are saying they're willing to work with our students to build. Well, let's work together. Let's build real things. That's how you get into top universities and get full scholarships. You build real things and not just get good grades. Nobody is saying that good grades are a bad thing. No, what I'm saying is getting good grades alone is not enough. because getting good grades is literally the bar, like the bar at the lowest level of the bar. We should get good grades. If you don't have good grades, sometimes it has nothing to do with intelligence. It has to do with your practice strategies. We're going to talk about that maybe next week, but you parents can tell us in the chat, what would you like us to tackle in this series of how to get your kids into top universities? We'll be more than happy to go through each one. We're going to try and invite admissions officers to come and speak as well, so you can ask questions and hear from them directly. We need students to have a high bar, honest standards, and real grades. And then we need to ask the right question first. Those are things that are going to be important in the AI revolution. So the old system is not going to work. Get it done fast. Still get your A's, that's fine. Get all A's, that's not the issue. But you need to master the work easily, build beyond it, and reach another level. When you apply, you tell people, I solved electricity over here. I solved drinking water over here. I solved the healthcare problem over here. There are tools that can do that now on a massive level. And I want to help students to build, and that's part of what we're going to do. I want my students to build AI infrastructure that companies might buy from you. Imagine a company coming and saying to your child, I really love the app you build. It really makes sense. Can I pay $1 million to have that app? Can I buy that? Is your child willing to sell it? I mean, these are things that are possible. Let me give you a quick story from a mathematician. One of the best mathematicians alive right now is in California, in the US. And one of the things he said is that some of the breakthroughs in math, or some of the massive advancements in math that is going to happen, is going to start coming from high school students. That's what he said. Why did he say that? This is Dr. Terence Tao. They call him the Mozart of mathematics, one of the best in the world. He said, because they now have AI tools that can help them push the boundaries or the limits. Can you imagine? He's saying we now have AI tools. Our students should be able to do much more. And there's still some students who are just thinking about 12th grade math. In the AI revolution, no, we can't be thinking like that. No, we need to be thinking about, I'm going to master 12th grade math in like no time. I'm going to be done with that stuff. And I'm thinking about, how can I solve these problems that haven't been solved? That is the mindset of a builder and somebody who gets into top institutions in the AI revolution. So this requires a different kind of school. Mastery. Getting A1s and mastery, that's basic now in the AI revolution. You can build a whole website that is tailored to teaching you what you need to learn at your own pace. That is the world our kids are growing up in. We need to make sure that students know how to take math and connect it to physics and chemistry. And that brings up a very good point. What about the idea of a science student or an art student? All of that doesn't work in the AI revolution because you can do whatever you need to do in the AI revolution. In the past, there was limits to what you could study. There is no limits, literally. You could study anything you want, when you want. You have MIT lectures, Stanford lectures, all on YouTube, on the internet. So the question really becomes, what should we be aspiring to in the AI revolution? We should be aspiring to live our lives to the fullest, living for the purpose for which we were made, seeking to solve problems in our community, not meeting just a basic standard. Most education systems are clueless about agentic AI and how it's going to disrupt them. Like, it's going to disrupt them like a wind that just goes through. Like, the whole infrastructure is in trouble. So what am I trying to get at? We cannot limit ourselves to any standards. We must go far above them and get all A's. So we need to make things and not just play games. We need to use AI as an amplifier, but we still need to master the fundamentals. We need to know the why behind the ideas. Why did Newton do the work he did? Why did Newton discover the calculus? Why did Euler do the work he did? Why did Gauss do, like, the why is much more important right now than anything else. Families, the tides have changed. You now have the tools to help your children learn better than even some of the best schools can help them learn. Families, we now have to take the leadership fully. We need to know what our children are good at and what they need to explore, and we need to be the first school for the child. Let me just let you in on a secret, parents. I'm just going to let you in on a very interesting secret. And I say this politely. I'm not trying to bash schools. I'm just trying to be brutally honest. Most schools are clueless about the AI revolution. Like, they're clueless. how can you then trust them to help your children get ready for such a revolution? How can you trust an institution that doesn't know what's going on to prepare your children to go into a world that is changing faster than they can realize? I'm not saying people shouldn't go to school. I'm saying schools need to change fast if they want to be relevant. And therefore, my point is this. Think about it. Let me give you an example. I'm going to school in Federal Government College, Lagos. It's 1999. I'm in 7th grade. That's the equivalent in America, JSS 1. And based on the system, or we'll just call it junior secondary school years, if I wanted to learn something, I couldn't just pull it up and learn it on my own. I had to go to class. I had to have a teacher tell me how to do it. And then I had to go through the material. And then I had to hope that I understood the material. There was no recording. If I missed class because I had malaria, which happened a few times in my secondary school years, then I have to be at the mercy of a student that will give me their notebook, and then I'll copy their notes, and then hopefully I'll understand what was taught. That was 1999 to 2005. Let me explain what it is now. All notes for all subjects are now available on AI models that are well trained. All notes. So all the notes I needed for school, done. I have all of them, right? That's number one. Number two, all lectures are now available online. You can learn anything you want when you want. That's number two. Number three, there is now Zoom for global collaboration. You can have a meeting with a top professor from around the world over Zoom, and they can inspire you and tell you things about the things you're learning. So here's my question. What is the purpose of school in the AI revolution then? It can't be knowledge and information transfer anymore. Just the basic, like, let me teach you how to define electrolysis or what is a catalyst. That's not the primary purpose of school then. What should school be about? I would argue that every teacher that really wants to thrive in the AI revolution, and we're going to have a teacher training next week, Saturday. More information on that is coming. Parents are always welcome to join. It's at 4 p.m. Nigerian time, 6 p.m. Kenyan time. You're welcome to join. It's a teacher training for teachers and parents. But here's the question. What should teachers do if they want to be relevant and thrive in the AI revolution? You need to aim to inspire your students. You need to help your students have a purpose for where they're headed. You need to show them why they're learning what they're learning. You need to master AI and show your students the benefits and the risks of AI. There is work to be done. We are here to support teachers. We're here to support parents. We're here to support students. We want everyone to thrive in the AI revolution. But I really want to be honest with us. The Industrial Revolution gave us the current education system, and the Industrial Revolution will not work in the AI revolution. It will actually put you at a disadvantage because you need to learn to be a thinker and a builder, not just someone who waits for solutions, but for things to be given to you. So, what you can do this week. Number one, name the real issue, right? We need to make sure our students are motivated to work hard. Your student needs to graduate in the top 5% if they want to consider going to top universities and getting scholarships. So if your student is not working hard, if they're not inspired, we need to solve that problem. Number two, your student needs to be so good at math that their school is afraid of them. Like your child's school should be afraid. Like, this kid is too good at math. What is he doing for math, right? And that's part of what we want to help your child do. We can help your child be the best in mathematics, period, because no matter what they want to do with their lives, they need to be good at math. Number three, they need to know the benefits and the risks of AI. We need to talk about AI. It is a key factor that would help them get into top universities and get full scholarships. Number four, we need to raise the ceiling. We need to stop celebrating easy A's. We need to start celebrating, like, this kid just solved a problem that the world is trying to solve. Your children can do that now. 15, 16, and 17-year-olds should be able to solve practical problems in the world. Look at John Dalton from Dalton's law of partial pressures or Dalton's theory of the atom. He was 18 years old when he was the principal of a school, essentially. Those are the days we need again. Children that are 16 years old that are teaching other children. Okay, the tools are in your hands, right? The only question is, okay, what do we do to reach the highest levels? How can we help you to reach the highest levels in math and science and college preparation? And I'm going to end with a couple of things. I'm going to list a few things that will help your child to get into top universities. Number one, they need to graduate in the top 5% of their school, of their graduating class. That should be easy in the AI revolution, like easy. If you're not doing that already, it's partly sometimes due to motivation or bad study habits. It has nothing to do with IQ. Okay? IQ can help, but if your child knows how to study smart, they will be fine. Number two, your child needs to be doing real world projects with real engineers, with real doctors, with real institutions. We are happy to provide that for your child. Your child needs to be publishing papers right now, not tomorrow, right now. They need to be learning how to publish papers. Number three, your child needs to be volunteering in their community, solving real problems, managing their time well. They need to not just sit down and say, well, I finished the school year, so I'm waiting for next year. Your child needs to completely remove their thinking as connected to the school year calendar. No, your child's learning goes on, period, right? Independent of the school year calendar. And parents, sorry, I'm sounding a little urgent and intense here. And part of it is because we don't have a lot of time, right? Imagine a world where all these machines are taking certain jobs. We cannot just sleep and watch what happens happen. We have to be ready and take action. Number four, your child needs to take the ACT and the SAT, and they need to score close to a perfect score. How do they do that? The tools are out there, and we have those tools as well. We would be happy to discuss that with you. Number five, as I said, with mathematics and science, it doesn't matter what your child wants to be. They need to be good at math, chemistry, and physics, because those are the things that are building the AI revolution. What about what should my child study at college? Engineering, you can't go wrong. Cybersecurity, you can't go wrong. AI engineering, you can't go wrong. Medicine, you can't go wrong, right? These are things that we know we're going to need in the AI revolution. So we need to help children to have a vision for life, direction for life. That's a lot there. I'm going to pause. If you want the handout of the things that your child should look at studying, please fill out the form, tinyurl.com/counting to calculus, and I'll send you that document. Just say in the comment section, just say, please send document, and I'll send you the document of everything your child needs to succeed and get into top institutions and get full scholarships. I'm going to pause here and take some questions. Thank you so much for your time. Look forward to having a great Q&A session now.
Yes, now the floor is open for questions. And I'll allow individuals to talk. So
sorry, my video was off earlier, but we're back on here. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Elias. Let me know if there's any questions. I already see a comment about sending the documents, so I will send the document out. It's called How to Get into MIT, Stanford, Cambridge, and Oxford. The formula is actually the same for all of them. And there's about 15 things on the list. I'll send it out right after this session. Any questions, thoughts, comments, objections, please feel free. Is there any aspect of college admissions that anybody wants me to zoom in on? Maybe one question I can answer actually is, and what I'll do is let me pull up the list on the screen, if that's okay. Let me just pull up the list. Somebody might ask, Amos, when should my child start studying for the for going to MIT or Stanford? My joke is that when your child is born, that's when you start preparing them, right? That's the best time. The next best time is 5th grade. So your children should be thinking in 5th grade, where am I headed? That's what I would encourage you to do. So right from 5th grade, they need to be looking at how can I get ready? From 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, their portfolio needs to be built. And then from there, we start getting into ACT, SAT by 8th grade, 9th grade, and then we go from there. So I would say if your child is not already preparing and they're already in 8th or 9th grade, we need to start like today. And the reason is, remember, you're competing with people from countries that have been preparing for a long time, right? So let me share my screen. And I'm so sorry I went fast there. Next time we're gonna slow down. Okay, so here's the list. Let me just share the list here. Can everyone see the list, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. So here are the things that you do if you want to get into MIT, Stanford, Princeton, Harvard, Oxford. Okay, all these schools, same formula. Number one, graduate close to top of your class. That's number one. Top 5% is a good start. Number two, do advanced work in math. Do you guys know that if a child goes to school in America, just by virtue of going to school in America, if you only follow the American curriculum, your child is at a disadvantage, just as a start. Like, just by going to school in America. What do I mean? Because some schools don't require your children to take calculus before they graduate high school. Well, how are you going to get into MIT or Harvard or Princeton if you haven't taken calculus, right? So this is something parents need to watch. You have to make sure that your children are learning at the level or higher than what children in Nigeria, Singapore, India are learning. That's a good benchmark, but you want to exceed that. Number three, advanced work in science. When I was a student, we had the science class, we had the arts class. It doesn't work in the AI revolution because there's no limitation on knowledge acquisition anymore, right? Your child can learn anything, so there's no limit. Therefore, even if your child wants to be a lawyer, they should learn physics. Amos, why would you say that? What did Isaac Newton study when he went to Cambridge? Law. I know, that sounds crazy. Isaac Newton went to Cambridge to study law. Why did he study law at Cambridge? The answer is actually funny. Because Newton hadn't done what Newton was going to do. Isn't that funny? Imagine this. He went to college, and then when he finished, right, during the college years, he went home and he had to, because of the plague, they had a plague in 1664 to about 1666. And do you know that Newton discovered a lot of things in physics and math during that time? After he got settled and wrote his book in 1687, can you imagine one man being responsible for every engineer? Literally, like every engineer has to study Newtonian physics. That's crazy. My point, though, is studying law doesn't mean you shouldn't know physics, because the guy who came up with physics actually went to school to study law. Number four, advanced academic work in English. We are now offering English classes, literature classes. We now have 150 books, about 150 books in our library that are going to be published by Life Academy Press. So we have our own books of the classics: Oliver Twist, Gulliver's Travels, The Great Expectations, Charles Dickens, on and on and on. Your children need to read the great books of Western civilization if they want to go to top universities. Why do you think classical schools outperform everybody? Well, because they're reading the great books of Western civilization. They're wrestling with tough ideas. Number five, your children need to do math competitions, science competitions, robotics competitions, especially if they want to go into engineering and STEM. So how do you get into those? We are offering one of those competitions this September. It's called the Gauss Euler Newton Tournament. So that's another thing. Your children need to be competing. The spelling bee, robotics, they need to be doing something with their skill set. Now, if your children love to compete already, that's great. But we need to encourage the children to get in love with the idea of having friendly competition. Next set of categories, your children need to be in leadership of different opportunities, community involvement, peer mentoring, financial leadership, time management, study skills, right? You can see the whole list there. They need to be good at taking notes, volunteering, and collaborating. Again, I'll pass this document to everyone who wants it after. Internships. Your children need to do internships. We are actually launching a program in the state of Wyoming this summer, and the program will eventually get around to more states in the country. It's in conjunction with MIT. But one of the goals of this program is to give kids AI training and connect them with opportunities at internships at leading labs in AI or leading companies in AI. Your students need to be mentored by MIT and Stanford students and other schools they're interested in. We have some of those mentors. Again, let us know if you want us to connect you with that. All our students who are already signed up in our program, that is already expected. We are bringing some of these people from MIT and Stanford. You'll be seeing them regularly on these webinars. They need to volunteer and attend college activities in the summer and volunteer in general. I already talked about advanced work in English. That's part of that. Outside the classroom, Find a sport that your students might like. Let them take part in athletics. It teaches another kind of skill set. Music, IT, they should learn another language. Whatever that language is, they should just learn to be fluent in another language. It's cool to be able to say, I can speak multiple languages. They should play Scrabble. They should play chess, spelling championships, theater arts. They actually want to see that you're well-rounded. And then lastly, can your students communicate? Can they write? Can they publish papers at the age of 16? Again, there is nothing on this list we can't help you with. We are happy to connect you with the relevant connections. Our goal is to ignite lifelong learning, and this is just the beginning of the conversation. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop, let you ask any questions, and then I will wrap up here in the next 5 to 7 minutes. Elias, any questions, thoughts, comments, anything I'm forgetting before we wrap up? We're actually going to wrap up in about 5 minutes as we transition to the AI Fluency course.
Yeah, no, so far things are going on track. I think we covered most of the things. I'm here thinking and imagining questions that people may have concerning the school, concerning the program, when does it start? If I want to enroll, how do I do it? Who do I contact? I don't know if you could speak anything about that.
I just put a link in the chat, by the way, for those who are interested in the other course we're offering today. So today is a big day of back-to-back webinars in case you want to join the next one, which starts in about 15 minutes. But let me answer the question from Elias. Elias is a good friend of mine, also, has been involved in some of the projects, starting programs, schools with me as well. And one of the things is that we have a few options for families, but the two major options, the first one is, if you want your child to be the best in math, if you want your child to be so good at math that the school doesn't know what to do with them, again, I say this politely, but like the school says, we don't have Calc 5 for you. We can't help you, right? Then you can let us know. We are ready to help your child. All these names that you hear me talking about, that's part of what our company does. We study the greatest mathematicians, and we're trying to raise the next generation of the greatest mathematicians. And we want your children to be some of those great mathematicians. So that's number one. Do you want your child to be very good at math? Then we're offering the Counting to Calculus summer program. It's starting on June 15th officially, and it runs for 10 weeks. We have small groups in the morning. We have small groups in the evening. We have, if you want one-on-one tutoring at any time, we have that as well. So that is all available to families. The second thing we're offering to families is the full Life Academy model. What that means is this. If you want your child, actually, let me tell you a story that explains why we're doing this. There is a company right now in the world that is known for helping people get into top universities. That's what they're known for. It's like that's what they do every day. They help kids get into Stanford, Harvard, like nothing happened. But the thing that they're doing that is interesting is that same company owns an online academy. Listen, this is crazy. That same company that works with everybody to get them into top universities, you pay about $30,000 to $40,000 a year. $30,000 to $40,000 a year. That's what they charge. Okay, just to give you reference, that's not the tuition for the school. No. I'm saying you can be attending a high school where you're paying 20 grand a year and you pay them 30 grand on top of your school fees. That sounds crazy, right? But if you get into Harvard on a full scholarship, you're saving $200,000. If you think of what you get, right? You go to Harvard on a scholarship, that's $200,000 free, right? And that means that you graduate from Harvard, which gives you the prestige. I don't know if you're seeing, it's an investment. But what that company decided to do is they also started their own school. So they have their own school now. And that school is where you go to learn English and math and science online. It's all online. Well, guess what? By God's grace, they now have a competitor. We have an online school. We are ready. We are ready to compete 100%. No worries. And the reason we're doing it is because I don't know how else to put it politely, especially for those in America. There's a lot of wasted time in American schools. There's just no other way to put it. If you just let your child zoom in and actually start getting the work done online with our live teachers, your child will graduate top of the class, top of the state. Doesn't matter. Because we don't play. We go year round. We don't have time to waste. We want your children to win Nobel Prizes. We want your children to win the highest awards in any subjects they go into. Well, we can't go with the normal route. So we have an online academy. It's open, it's live. August 17th, the school year starts, we're ready. That's a bigger commitment if somebody wants to do the full school with us. But if you just want math, or you just want science, or you just want tutoring, we're here to help you as well. So I want you to know that you can either do just the tutoring, or you can do the full academy. But we have work to do because we need some top CEOs that also have values in the world. And that's part of why we started our online academy, Life Academy. Feel free to reach out if you want more information. If you don't want to attend the full academy, but you still want to see our curriculum and have your kids use our curriculum on the weekends or after school, let me know. We'll send you our curriculum as well. Thank you so much. Elias, I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I think that kind of captures it. So I don't know if anybody here has any more questions to add on top of that. But otherwise, I think we're good.
Well, thank you so much. Parents and anyone on the call, are there topics you think we should tackle? Let's just take 1 minute. Put it in the chat. You can ask it or you can just put it in chat. What topics would you like to see us tackle over the next few weeks as we do this summer series? I guess, Elias, is officially a summer series, right? How to prepare your children for the AI revolution. We're just going to have a few sessions where we discuss practical steps for preparing your children for the AI revolution. So is there any other topics you think we should cover? Please email our team. Can someone just put it in the chat, please? amosthemathguy@gmail.com. That's my email, amosthemathguy@gmail.com. Just let me know if there's any topics you want me to cover, if there's any way we can help. We are going to start math lessons next week, so please join us if you want to get very good at math. Summer is not the time to take off from math. It's the time to go higher and farther in math. So thank you so much, Elias. And thank you to everyone for joining the call today. We look forward to more collaborations. I'll be inviting a couple of people from MIT over the next few weeks, as well as Rice University in Texas, which is called the MIT of the South. Rice University is rising up in the ranks fast. So please join us when you can. Watch the recordings, share them with your friends. Let's transform American education at scale. There is no time to waste. These children are going into an AI and STEM revolution. Let's give them all the tools to change their world, to be the best they can be. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a blessed day. Thanks again.